Actually, what is this? I'm kind of curious of
All
this
right,
here.
you're just gonna walk with all.
6 shocking revelations from Ruby Frank's child abuse journal. Selfish children. All right, I feel like this will give a lot of context to the situation here.
Officer Hines.
Ruby Franke, the former YouTuber turned convicted felon, now serving prison time for abusing her children in the name of religion. Franke documented it all in a journal, and we have the disturbing details in her own words. Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy.
Don't worry, we're going to watch some dash cam
abuse
stuff
that Ruby
later,
Franke's
chat. Don't worry.
children suffered was bad, I can assure you it's much, much worse than anything that you imagined. Franke documented the abuse and justified it by claiming her children have Satan within them and that demons have visited them. The journal starts in May of 2023 with a note stating that Jodi Hildebrandt received a blessing from a temple president. What that blessing was and what it pertains to is somewhat unclear. In late
You put
June,
it in a journal?
Franke
Yeah.
wrote that her son refused
That's what I was saying, chat. They're fucking delusional, crazy wackos. You know?
to wall sits. He says he is done. The following day, Franke wrote that the boy is to stay outside, sleep outside, only to come in to use the bathroom and shower. After that, several pages are black. They're redacted, so there are pages and pages of information that we're not seeing. The journal picks up in July as Ruby Franke's journal details the horror that her 12-year-old son and 10-year-old daughter endured over the next 3 months. I won't be using their names as they are the victims of horrific abuse. Franke wrote about her son. Turns 12 tomorrow. I never envisioned him still being 12 and pooping and peeing himself. Satanic choices leads one to become destitute, even in the most.
You're saying he's pooping and pissing himself because of the devil? Because of Satan? What?
Most affluential homes. Then the next day on her son's birthday, Franke
Oh yeah, because they have money, so it makes
wrote
sense.
about her
Great
daughter
home.
and son being in so much deviant behavior, they won't control their bodily functions. They're both furious. Their selfish, sinful lifestyle is being intervened upon. I told R he emulates a snake. He slithers and sneaks around looking for opportunities when no one is watching, and then he scurries. If he wants to emulate the savior, then he needs to be 100% obedient. Ruby Franke then said that her son lies all the time. He's a compulsive liar. This entire experience is a shock to my system. She wrote that her son has a cold, dead heart, and he's always been able to get what he wants. On July 14th, Franke wrote that her daughter, quote, refuses to work, screams, has her hair shaved off. Franke repeatedly shaved her daughter's hair when she didn't comply with her demands throughout the summer. The girl was only 10. Can you imagine?
Wow.
You shave off your daughter's hair because she refused to work. And we don't know exactly what kind of work she was refusing to do, but we can only imagine given what we have learned about the abuse. This was just the beginning of the summer of hell for these kids. Franke said she told her son that he needed to divulge everything, that he needed to pray and to fast. He's workable and calm for a bit, and then angry and defiant the next. The only consistent thing about R is that he lies. That's what Franke wrote about her son. She followed up by writing that her son told her he would rather have a glass of water than have her as a mom. Ruby Franke then described July 11th.
Dude, get fucked! Get fucked! Holy shit, I hope he actually said that. I hope he actually said that. That is badass. Holy shit.
As a big
Go off,
day for
King.
evil. She sent her son to stand in the sun with a sun hat, but the boy's demons, she said, wanted to stand in the shade. So Franke said she got a cactus poker to push the boy into the sun.
What?
Later, she poured mop water on him to cool him off.
What the fuck?
The children were forced to fast, but really it sounded more like they were being starved. They were continually told that they were lying and that they needed to repent. For exactly what? No one really knows. If you can engage a weak-minded soul in a physical activity of obedience, you can begin to break the bond of Satan made with the weak. Ruby Franke wrote that Jodi Hildebrandt volunteered to help her with that.
So they're deeming every reaction to their abuse as the devil. So them reacting to getting hot in the sun
What?
is Satan.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
They planned to buy a ranch in Arizona where
Wow.
the children could do more hard work to rid themselves of Satan. At one point, Franke wrote, "The kids need a good kick from a horse and a cactus to run into."
What?
There were times when Franke and Hildebrandt placed Franke's daughter in a closet and refused to give her water if she screamed. Quote, "She screamed for another family, water, food, care, love. A manipulative ploy. You are loved." That's what Ruby Franke wrote. About her 10-year-old daughter. The girl was also made to jump into a cactus. Franke said her daughter was actually cuddling with it, calling it inhuman. In late July, Franke wrote about her daughter, "We put her in the closet to contemplate what to do. She screams much of the day. She doesn't get water if she screams. She refuses to eat." The next day, she wrote, "Jody wakes from a dream. God lets her know that we have done everything we can to get her attention."
Oh
They
my
also forced the
God.
children to pull weeds from a cemetery for hours at a time and to pick up glass. Franke's 12-year-old son was forced to jump on a mini trampoline for long periods of time and to balance on one foot. On August 27th, toward the end of the children's torturous
What?
captivity, Ruby Franke wrote about her son. "Spent the 22nd through the 25th peeing and pooping. He is out of control. He is defiant, abusive, mean, willing to try
Mean?
anything that would grab his attention. I
I
whipped
think you
him
got
with
it
a belt
backwards.
yesterday. He too." Franke then said her daughter peed all over Jody's garage floor, screamed at her, and lied to her. She is out of control.
How did you get the ropes on you?
3 days later, on August 30th, the children had reached their breaking point. The 12-year-old boy escaped from Hildebrandt's house and went to a neighbor for help. With me to discuss the horrific information in Ruby Franke's journal is somebody who's an expert in psychology and psychiatry. He is Dr. Daniel Bober. He's a forensic psychiatrist. Dr. Bober, you read through this
making
just
me
as I
nauseous,
did.
dude. Oh
Your
my
first
God.
thoughts on what you've read?
Absolutely horrific. Heavily redacted, but the details that are in there are very disturbing.
Why do you think it was so heavily
Yeah, and that's what's so fucked up. That's a redacted version of that. That's like where they actually took out a lot.
redacted? I mean, we have pages and pages of black. I mean, we have black boxes, of course, but then we have pages full of black. Why would the law enforcement officials in the courts redact that information?
Maybe too personal, too disturbing, as if the rest isn't disturbing. It's just, maybe there were things in there that they just felt were too intimate to share. It's very hard to know.
I'm trying to
my
imagine
God.
a world. I'm a mom. I'm trying to imagine a world in which I look at my children, ages 12.
Telling you I'm so glad I escaped religion. Dude, that's what sucks is like I don't know, like it's too much of like it's like you're teetering on the edge of a cliff when you're messing with religion, right? Like you don't know how deep it's going to go. You really don't. Like maybe you're just like, "Oh yeah, I believe in this stuff." And again, I don't really give a shit if people believe in that stuff, but and I just want to, believe in that, do religion on my own time, and that's all I need. Have like a personal connection with God, whatever, cool. But like once you start going in, it's like it doesn't stop. It just keeps getting deeper and deeper. It's
12 and 9 or
crazy.
10, somewhere in that range. And I think to myself, Satan is within you. And in
There's
order
nothing wrong with the religion. It's the people that ruin it. I disagree. There is a lot wrong with religion. I mean, religion was created to control. Like it's just a fact. Religion was created to control people. Like that was literally the reason that it was created, is so they have an easy way to control a mass amount of people. It's just a fact. Like that's the main reason it was created.
to drive Satan out
And
of
some people who think they are like the Messiah, that think that they are like a higher deity of the religious thing, right? they're the ones who are to fear. Those are the ones, like the people who like God came down and gave a message to me. Those are the ones you need to fear because they probably have a genuine mental issue. And then they're going to say it's normal because they think it's religion, right? I mean, hell, a lot of religion doesn't even believe in mental health.
Of you. My friend Jody here, she's going to volunteer to take you to you children.
Yeah, okay, Heath said it right. Religion is bad. Personal belief is okay. Just leave everyone else alone. Highly agree. Organized religion is absolutely terrible. If you guys want to believe what you want to believe, do it on your own time, right? Like, do it in your own personal home. You know, do your own shit, right? Because whatever organized religion is not right. It ain't good.
Young kids to her house. And you're going to be starved. You're going to be forced to do physical labor, collecting weeds and glass and what have you from a cemetery for hours at a time, being poked with a
Bionic
cactus.
Pig, I just wanted to say I think you're really cool.
Why, thank you, Goofy.
Water, forced to stand out in the sun because that is going to drive Satan out of you. Where is that coming from in Ruby Franke's mind?
Well, you know, ironically, it actually happens to be the parents who are often the perpetrators with these victims of abuse. 1 in 7 children in the last year were abused, about 600,000 last year. And we know that the parents are most likely going to be the perpetrators. But in this particular case, clearly there was something that was not right with this woman, whether she had her own abuse or her own mental illness. I've never obviously examined her, so I cannot say. But there are certainly people that have what we call an authoritarian form of discipline that's based on coercion, control, sort of breaking the will of the child. But this takes it to a new level. So clearly there is some form of mental illness going on with this woman. We obviously don't.
See, and that's the problem with religion a lot of times, is religion, they don't believe in mental illness. They tell you to talk to God about it. They tell you to, you know, do some religious thing to fix a genuine problem with your brain. And then that problem doesn't get solved. And then it gets worse. And then it gets worse, you know? And then you just think that it's just a religion thing. Like, it's,
don't know what it is. We don't know
so
her background, her
it's
trauma, maybe her own maltreatment. But clearly this is not just a normal form of parenting.
This is going on with, or was
Are
going
you
on,
sure
I
it's
should
not
say, with
normal?
the 12-year-old and the 10-year-old. I'm not going to use their names. They are victims of abuse. There were other children, but it was these 2 children were singled out. We know there are older children and then children younger. Can you think in your mind as to why
I think the older
these 2
children like
were
thought it
singled
was
out
right
for this abuse? I mean, Ruby Franke is telling herself in these writings that she's, and I don't quite understand it, like why she thinks her children are so possessed. I have my own theories, but because of the redactions, I can't really get too deep into that. But she thinks they're being influenced by the devil. But why these 2 young kids, 12 and 10, why are they being singled out for this horrific abuse and maybe not the other kids?
Well, the younger kids are the easiest targets. They're the most vulnerable. They're the ones that have the hardest time fighting back. But I think what this story tells us is something much larger in society, which is this whole concept of what I like to call the Facebook fallacy or the Instagram illusion, is that people watched this mother. She became an overnight sensation. At one point, she had over 2 million followers. But it just goes to show you that everything you see, everything you hear, you have to question. You have to be skeptical. You have to be cynical, because all these people that are posting this stuff on social media, we develop this opinion of them. But we know that with people, you only get 2 things: what they show you and what you want to see. So this is a perfect example of how an image can be manipulated in society to make people believe that people are a certain way when nothing could be further from the truth.
And I don't.
Damn, that hit hard. That was kind of fire. He's kind of spitting right there. All right, I think they're just going to talk the rest of the time. I just wanted to hear that portion of it. Yeah, there was a lot. Like, it was like a huge evidence drop today. What the fuck?
We go live to Garrett James, who's taking us inside the home of Jody Hildebrand, where it all happened. Garrett?
Yeah, Brian, that's right. And going through the video, it was a sad video to watch it unfold itself. However, one thing I will say, in these new release videos, you can see the moments where police and first responders first step into the home where they end up finding the little girl.
Step out of the house.
No, I'm not just about
Step out of the house. Step out of the house.
All right, we saw this. There was a portion of it I wanted to see.
Into the
No police officer.
Tobler's pass by, and
Yeah, this.
I'm Sergeant Tobler. What's your name?
a few minutes pass by, and Sergeant Tobler sits
Look at this.
down with a girl, trying to speak with her.
Look, they had ropes. This is what I was curious about. This was like the thumbnail. It's like the ropes and the handcuffs and shit. Yeah, this at the end here.
What looks to be a few hours later, according to the time on the body cam footage, the little girl is still in the closet. The Santa Clara Ivans fire rescue team is even attempting to talk with the girl, but nothing.
You don't want to talk?
Oh my fucking god, dude. Wow. All right, I'm going to move on from that, chat. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of shit that's going to come out about this. I'll probably pop in here and there and see what's going on with that case, because that's, wow. Oh, wait, hold up. I found it.
Had a 12-year-old.
Right. Jailhouse calls revealed.
Boy showed up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he had...
But it feels like I was being set up to end up here. I know that sounds bizarro. I mean, I should be
This is them talking to each other, by the way.
here. I haven't done anything wrong.
We're now getting a look inside the minds of Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt with never-before-heard jailhouse calls.
1961 North U1 Drive in Ivans. He says he just left through the porch.
Yo, thank you, Heath.
Fart so hard your balls explode.
He doesn't know where his dad is. Well,
An inmate at Purgatory Correctional Facility. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Okay, well, you know that this phone call is being recorded.
yes, that will come out. That will come out.
Almost right away, Ruby asks whether she's making the headlines.
Are we in the news?
It sounds like
First thing she
at
asked.
least you're in the news. I don't know about me. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, we could watch the
In
next
early
post chat.
conversations with Kevin, Ruby calls her arrest
As
a
long
witch
as it's not an hour
I'm
long.
wondering if they went to Sherry to, like, ask her questions.
I don't know.
These bookings are public.
I know they are. And a couple months ago, Business Insider was reaching out to me, and I ignored their email. But I'm going dark.
This is a witch.
I'm not at BYU. I'm not at BYU anymore, so I don't know how they're going to find me.
Yeah, maybe it was a blessing. This is a
Find
witch
you?
hunt. The devil's been after me for years.
At first, Frankie doesn't show any remorse, saying children can be full of evil.
Adults have a really hard time understanding that children can be full of evil and what that takes to fight it. You've seen what it takes to fight evil. It's not the person you're fighting. And it can look like something it's not. And you've been there, you know that. And so I don't know any adults who are going to see the truth. So
Was there captions?
I'm calm about this, and I just pray that you'll hang in there.
The next day, Ruby speaks with Kevin again and even...
Okay, what she said. Okay, here, I'll go back for you guys. All right.
saying children can be full of evil.
Adults have a really hard time understanding that children can be full of evil and what that takes to fight it. You've seen what it takes to fight evil. It's not the person you're fighting.
To fight the children.
Like something it's not. And you've been there, you know that. And so I don't know any adults who are going to see the truth. So I'm calm about this, and I just pray that you'll hang in there.
The next day, Ruby speaks with Kevin again.
See what I'm talking about, guys? They're fucking delusional. They still think they're in the right. Even when they're getting arrested, they still think that they're right and everyone else is just crazy. That's fucking bonkers, man.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.